articles, research, notes, pulling out the key insights. Today, we're looking at something major, a global event unfolding really rapidly. It's about former President Donald Trump's recent, very stark warning. He told Tehran residents to evacuate Tehran before there's nothing left. It's incredibly dramatic, urgent stuff. And our mission here in this deep dive is to unpack it all. We'll use official statements, news reports, even, public reactions to try and understand what's behind this message, what it could mean.
Absolutely. And the amount of information, the complexity, it's huge. To really get a handle on the significance, we absolutely need to look at it from multiple angles, connect the dots between the official lines, what's happening on the ground, the bigger geopolitical picture, see the whole thing.
Okay, so let's dive into this. This directed itself. June 16th, 2025. Trump suddenly leaves the G7 summit. Big meeting, right? Major nations. And then almost immediately he tweets this. Well, chilling directive. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. That was everywhere. Multiple outlets reported it. But he didn't stop there, did he? He went on Truth Social, his platform, and said, quoting here, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but safe for now." He also demanded Iran's unconditional surrender, really emphasized U.S. air power, hinting at, potentially much deeper military action.
Yeah, it's quite something, that kind of direct public threat from a former leader. It's pretty unusual in modern diplomacy. Historically, sure, public ultimatums were sometimes used as a way to signal a hard line, try to force a quick surrender. What's really striking here, the key thing, is how he's doing it. Using social media like this, it completely bypasses the normal, quieter diplomatic routes.
Right, no back channels.
Exactly. It creates this potentially really volatile situation. Less controlled than anything historically. It forces everyone into a very public, very immediate confrontation, puts huge pressure on Iran, on allies, everyone to react instantly, publicly.
And this warning, it didn't just come out of the blue, did it? There was a lot happening militarily just before. Can you sort of connect those dots for us, set the stage?
Yeah, absolutely. It fits into what political scientists call a security dilemma. Each side's defensive actions look aggressive to the other. And crucially, without clear ways to de-escalate, these things can just spiral upwards, often unintentionally. So just before Trump's warning, there were those significant Israeli airstrikes. Tehran, other sites. Reports said they killed senior IRGC commanders, that's the Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Including Ali Shadmani specifically.
Ali Shadmani, yes, a major figure. And Trump's reaction, he was openly enthusiastic, called the strikes excellent, and warned of even more, quote, brutal action if Iran didn't basically give in.
And Iran hit back.
They did. Retaliatory missile strikes into Israeli cities, and then the U.S. response, moving assets like the USS Nimitz carrier strike group into the region. That's a big move.
The USS Nimitz, that's not just any ship, right? A nuclear carrier. What does putting that into the mix signal?
The regime change.
Such a tense moment.
Oh, it's a huge signal. It's essentially a mobile American airbase. It projects massive power readiness. It can launch sustained air attacks, control huge areas. Its deployment says the U.S. isn't just backing allies. It's signaling it's ready to act directly, forcefully if needed.
So it really raises the stakes.
Immensely. It takes what might seem like a regional fight and instantly gives it much broader global implications. Makes everyone sit up and pay very close attention.
So stepping back from the high-level strategy and the military hardware, what about the people? In order, evacuate Tehran, what does that actually mean for civilians? 10 million people live there. It's hard to even picture.
It means, frankly, an immediate humanitarian catastrophe waiting to happen. Practically speaking, trying to empty a megacity like Tehran. It's a logistical nightmare, almost impossible.
You saw reports about gridlock already.
Right. Immediate challenges, gridlocked roads. How do you even physically move that many people? Where do they go? And the terrifying fact, reports say 0 bomb shelters.
Yeah.
Analysts are saying, look, a full evacuation is virtually unfeasible. Even just moving, say, a few 100,000 people.
Yeah.
That could take days, maybe longer.
Chaos.
Total chaos. The sheer number of people, plus the lack of infrastructure for this kind of event, shelters, routes, supplies. Any serious attempt would likely lead to mass panic, casualties, immense suffering. It really highlights the human cost. Whether it's a bluff or a genuine warning, the directive itself terrifies the civilian population.
Okay, let's widen the loose again. The geopolitics. Trump's stated goal, he's been clear. It isn't just a ceasefire, it's, quote, unconditional end to Iran's nuclear ambitions. Meanwhile, back in the U.S., you have lawmakers getting nervous, introducing war powers resolutions.
Right, trying to pull back some control. That's Congress wanting to reassert its constitutional role in declaring war. They're wary of the White House acting alone. especially for something this big. It requires notification, congressional sign-off for longer deployments.
And internationally, Europe, the G7 leaders.
They're urging restraint very strongly, cautioning against a wider war, against, unforeseen regional chaos.
So what does all that tell us about the checks and balances, the global stakes?
Well, it really highlights that classic tension, doesn't it? Executive power versus legislative oversight on matters of war. Especially in the U.S. system, Congress is trying to apply the brakes. And the international community, particularly Europe and the G7, they have huge interests in stopping this escalating further. Think about the economy, potential refugee crises, just general global instability. It would ripple out everywhere.
So they're pushing diplomacy hard.
Intense diplomatic pressure, coordinated statements, trying to find an off-ramp, basically, emphasizing how unpredictable and catastrophic this could all become.
And public perception. It seems all over the place. We saw comments on Reddit, for instance. One person saying, he's just saying stupid stuff. The White House is already reinterpreting what he said. But then others pointing out the sheer terror of the logistics, asking things like, with what transport? With what medicine and shelter? So, people are clearly divided, seeing it very differently. Is it just calculated pressure versus reckless brinkmanship? Or is there more to it?
Those comments really capture the core dilemma, don't they? Is it a calculated gamble? A strategic move designed to shock Iran into submission, thinking maybe this extreme threat will actually work where other things haven't? Or is it just incredibly dangerous, impulsive, risking a war nobody actually wants?
Could it be for a domestic audience too? That's another interpretation, yeah. A kind of political performance, maybe aimed at his base back home, but with these incredibly high international stakes. And the role of social media here is critical too. It amplifies everything, all these different viewpoints, creates this really complex narrative that governments then have to react to, leading to those quick reinterpretations or clarifications you mentioned. It's this constant back and forth.
So we're standing right on the edge here, a lot of critical questions unanswered. First, I guess, what does Iran do? Do they call Trump's bluff, or do they escalate even further themselves? Second, diplomacy. Can it still work? People like Vice President Vance, the envoy Steve Witkoff, can they somehow avert war? And third, Congress. Will they manage to rein Trump's authority, or will they end up green-lighting military action? The stakes just couldn't be higher, really. Every decision matters now. Iran's response, the U.S. administration's next move, what Congress does, what international players do, it's all interconnected. It's an incredibly delicate balance. Any misstep, any miscalculation by anyone involved could have just catastrophic results, not just for the region, but globally. Everyone is watching. What does Iran do? Do they call Trump's bluff, or do they escalate even further themselves? Second, diplomacy. Can it still work? People like Vice President Vance, the envoy Steve Witkoff, can they somehow avert war? And third, Congress. Will they manage to rein Trump's authority, or will they end up green-lighting military action? The stakes just couldn't be higher, really. Every decision matters now. Iran's response, the U.S. administration's next move, what Congress does, what international players do, it's all interconnected. It's an incredibly delicate balance.
Of enormous complexity, incredible intensity, unfolding, it feels like, by the minute. All eyes are certainly on the Situation Room and, of course, on the ground in the Middle East.
Absolutely. And maybe as you, the listener, reflect on all this, consider how this digital age changes things. Instant social media statements, news spreading like wildfire. It dramatically speeds up international crises, changes their scale. And it raises a really important question, doesn't it? What's our responsibility as individuals to make sense of this urgent, complex information overload?